But tonight, we try to get some clarity, get some perspectives on this matter and the way forward for the nation's main opposition party ahead of the 2023 general elections. I'm now being joined by a former Minister of Interior and a member of the PDP Board of Trustees, Mr. Waziri Adamu. He joins us live here in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
What is happening with your party?
Well, our party is not in the tumultuous disarray the news media is making Nigerians to believe. Our party has its challenges, but our party is contented, and we are living in some comfort. Why? Because there is no political decision you take that has no ripple effect. So I have always pleaded with members of the Fourth Reign that they should be partners in progress with the political parties to douse tension, not to arouse tension.
And maybe we should not report what is exactly happening.
And when they are
is that what you're trying to infer?
What they are going to, what the members of the Fourth Reign should do is to do interrogative, investigative journalism. And that's why I have considered to come here to give you what I consider a non-official perspective to what is dominating, particularly the social media, that there is crisis in the PDP over the choice of Governor Okowa and the running mate to His Excellency Atiku Abubakar.
All right, let's get to it. I mean, you are a very senior member of the party. You've, I mean, as high as being a minister, and now you're, I mean, a member of the Board of Trustees, so you know so very much well. It depends on your definition of crisis. Because I'm wondering now, when you raise a reconciliation team, you don't raise a reconciliation team when all is well. You raise a reconciliation team when things are not going exactly the way you wanted. Now, the efforts that are being led by the chairman of the Board of Trustees, how far?
Well, let me quickly say that the first constitutionally defined role of the Board of Trustees in the PDP is the Board of Trustees, the custodian of the assets and liabilities of the party. The second one, his job is to reconcile members should there be any crisis. This is the second job of the Board of Trustees. But putting up the reconciliation team as being painted by members of the Fourth Reign is different from what officially the chairman of the Board of Trustees is doing. We had a primary, a national convention, where the results stood out two people. A winner in the person of Atiku Abubakar, and a second a loser was highly placed Governor Nyesom Wike. That settles the emergence of the presidential candidate. The next issue is who is going to be the running mate. And looking at the backdrop of what happened in 2019, the presidential candidate this time around decided to widely consult, deepen the choice, the process for the choice of who is going to be the running mate. He did not abdicate his right to pick his running mate, but he decided to allow input of stakeholders into the process. And what people are glossing over, that committee recommended 3 people to the candidate who reserved the right to choose any one of them or none at all. In practice.
Was there any voting process?
I want to tell you on my honor, there was no voting.
So the account of Governor Otom is not right?
It's not right. There was no voting.
He said that there were 17 people and out of 17, 14 voted for Nyesom Wike. Is that right or wrong?
Let me tell you, Sheun, among the people that came with me here to this studio is the person who chairman that meeting. He did not take any vote. But in the course of the deliberation, members were allowed to express their views.
So 14 people expressed their views in favor of Wike.
Whatever the number, some people expressed their views for Mr. A, some people expressed their views for Mr. B.
Was it true that majority of those in that committee, thought that Wike should be, Governor Wike should be?
I think so. I think so. I think so.
Was there in the recommendation that the candidates should understand the preferences of the committee members?
No. 17 people, if you want to take it, cannot choose a presidential candidate, a vice presidential candidate for a candidate who won in a convention. But he has the right. He has the right. And everywhere in the dispensation from 1999 to date, either the federal level or the state level, the candidate, be it a governor or a presidential candidate, reserves the sole right at the end of the day to make the decision of who is going to be his running mate. Because why? You are talking of bringing two people together that will cohabit, that will work together in the discharge of their onerous responsibilities. We in the PDP have had the history of what happened between 2003 and 2007, whereby there were deep-seated crises between the then president and the then vice president. And nobody is going to wish that there should be such a repeat. So the candidate who won the election on his own merit must be given the right at the end of the day to make a choice of who is going to be his running mate. Other people will make a recommendation. They can express their preferences. And at the end of the day, who will announce who is going to be the candidate? Not the party, but the candidate himself. And that's what happened.
So where is this, problem or this frenzy? Where is it coming from? Where did the party get it wrong? Or where did the candidate get it wrong? Because, there cannot be smoke without a fire.
Yes, there cannot be. As I told you, the primaries and the result were neck to neck. The party had already become deeply divided as to who is going to be the presidential candidate, expressing different preferences. And if you see the results, it was just different about 64 votes from the winner and the loser. So after the emergence of the candidate, we need to transit from aspirational situation to a candidatorial situation. Meaning, when there is now a candidate, the issue of aspiration is over. You now switch to candidatorial, where we have a candidate. I'm coming. Now you have a candidate, and the candidate becomes the leader of the party, he becomes the face of the party, he becomes the voice of the party. But that is incomplete unless he has a running mate. And the running mate is going to, I'm not sorry to say subservient, but he's going to be what is called the spare tire of the candidate. They are going to work together and promote the party and complement one another for electoral victory and success. So when people have not made the transition, have not adapted their attitude now to a point where we have to move away from aspirations to candidates, people express their preferences. From day one, everybody knew that Governor Ottom is for Wike. Everybody knows. Just like everybody knows Adamu Waziri and for Waziri Atiku Abubakar. So there's nothing wrong with that.
So, tonight, I would like, as a leader of the party and a member of the BOT, if your party will do this again, where do you think the mistake is from?
Do what again?
If you are to find yourself in a situation where you have to pick a running mate again, what do you think your party did wrong that you should not repeat?
Shewan, please don't drag us backward. We are making progress.
No, I'm not. I'm saying, what lesson have you learned from this
There
process?
is no lesson that's going to be learned on something that has been concluded. The candidate has emerged. The vice presidential candidate has emerged. What is there before us is now to come together and forge ahead.
Have you guys been able to reach out to Governor Wike?
Of course. You are aware that last week I was in the news. I was in the eye of the storm. That I went to Istanbul, Turkey, with Governor Wike. I was sent by Waziri to go to Istanbul to speak with Wike, and Governor Wike refused to see me. It was in the news.
Did you go?
But that's not true.
You didn't travel at all?
No.
You traveled, but you didn't go to him?
No, the report was inaccurate.
So what is the truth?
I went to Istanbul on holiday on Friday. And Governor Wike came to Istanbul on Wednesday. He didn't know I was in Istanbul. I didn't know he was coming to Istanbul. We met in front of the lift of the hotel. We happened to stay in the same hotel. And I have it on video. We exchanged banters and banners, and we laughed, and we joked. And I said, well, Governor Wike, you are here. I'm here. There is need for us to sit down and talk. Are you amenable to that? He said, yes, he's amenable.
Were you able to do that, to hold that talk?
We talked briefly, not as deep as I would have wanted, not as deep as he wanted, but he didn't refuse to see me.
So he saw you?
Of course, he saw me. Governor Ikpazu, who was with him, also saw me, and we discussed, but very brief discussion. I wanted a deep conversation.
But he didn't give you that audience of...
But that did not happen because he had his own reasons for coming to Istanbul. He was very busy.
Were you able to persuade him in that short meeting that you had?
Look, Governor Wike is a PDP man to the marrow. He will not go anywhere.
But he's a man
he has invested so much in PDP.
He's a man that is aggrieved. So his allies are saying.
Of course.
Did you see that grievance?
At a certain point, I was also aggrieved in the PDP. I was very aggrieved.
In this matter,
but I overcame it, and he's going to overcome it.
Did you see his grievance?
Of course.
Are you able to understand with him and perhaps see it from his own prism?
No. Listen, I want to tell you, Governor Wike knows I appreciate his own situation because he knows I fought for Waziri to become the candidate. Of course, fighting for Waziri means not getting Wike elected. He knows it. So there is no problem about that. But both Wike and myself are members of the PDP. And we have reached a point where, as committed and loyal party members, when the party take a decision, we must follow and try to strengthen the party. And this is a responsibility. Governor Wike did say on the convention floor that he is going to work for the success of the presidential candidate of the party, irrespective of whether he won or he didn't win. And I have known Governor Wike to be a very steadfast person. He will not change.
When you raised the matter with him, what was his response?
We will talk.
That's what he said?
Yes.
And he never discussed going into details?
No. I understand what he means, we will talk. I understand.
What do you think is the best way, or how do you think is the best way to placate it?
The best way is that we will keep on the engagement.
Do you think Waziri should go and meet him?
I said we'll keep on the engagement.
No, I'm asking, because now the BOT has said Waziri should be, I'm talking about Atiku Abubakar now, should be to lead the reconciliatory meeting with Wike. Do you think Waziri should do that?
I don't know if the VOG chairman has spoken to Waziri about it. Okay. I'm not privy to it. But at the end of the day, the first campaigner of the presidential candidate of the PDP is Atiku Abubakar himself.
Is it true that there's a consideration that Governor Wike should be the Director General of the campaign of Atiku Abubakar?
I am unaware of that.
Or you think he will make a good Director General?
Of course.
Do you think that he should be offered that position?
Of course.
I mean, if Governor Wike does not decide not to work with Atiku Abubakar the way he did in 2019, is there any danger that will prove for your party?
That possibility is unthinkable. It's going to work.
What if it happens?
No, it will not happen.
Why do you think so?
Because I know him. I've interacted with him.
And you think?
And I have his commitment. And I believe he is a man of his words.
Have you heard Governor Autumn is a very good friend on this matter?
Yes.
Have you heard him?
Yes.
Do you want me to play back again?
No, you don't need to play back. You don't need to play back. When we had the zoning committee, Governor Autumn made similar comments, and I took him up, and he had to apologize to the members of the zoning committee. you know.
So
unfortunately, we have at a certain time, we become overwhelmed with our preferences, and we fail to do the attitudinal change to emerging circumstances. Governor Autumn is one of the strongest supporters of Governor Wike among the governors in the country. But this time around, we want people also to look at the overall interest of the party. What does the PDP want? We're not looking for a presidential candidate. We're looking for a president of PDP extraction in Nigeria. And we have already got the candidate. We want him to be the president.
You think Atiku can win the 2023
Absolutely,
election?
we are going to win.
He can defeat
Or
Bola
certainly we are
Tinubu
going to defeat
or
Bola
defeat
Tinubu.
Peter Obi?
No. Peter Obi is an effervescence.
What do you mean by that? Break it down for us.
An effervescence means it is like a wind that is just coming up for a brief period of time, and it was going to die down. Because the presidential election is going to be based on arithmetical and mathematical permutations.
And you don't think Peter will be fitting into that?
No.
What about if Kwankwaso and Peter will be join force?
Well, let's see whether they can.
Do you think that is going to pose a
They
challenge?
don't need to go separate ways before they will join force.
Kwankwaso is from the northwest. Atiku Abubakar from the northeast.
I'm saying that if there is need for that, none of them needs to go to NPP and Labour Party for them to do that. From day one, they would have come together. After all, Kwankwaso went to NPP much earlier than Governor Peter Obi going to Labour Party. All of them were products of the PDP. You see, all these individuals made a name, created the cliche because they had a national political party platform. And they are all products of the PDP. I assure you that both of them will work more for Atiku Abubakar than for Bola Tinubu, who they have never had any political relationship from 1999 to date.
One of those who say that at the polls, Bola Tinubu as a candidate would beat Atiku Abubakar dirty, silly.
Well, we want to see the calculation. You see, now we are comparing apples and oranges. PDP, as far as we are concerned, we have got a presidential candidate. We have got a vice presidential candidate. APC have got an alien presidential candidate.
What do you mean by that?
And no vice presidential candidate.
What do you explain what you meant, the first one?
Yeah, because everybody knows that the presidential candidate of the APC is not in the best of health.
They say that about your candidate too.
No.
Have you confirmed?
We have seen it at the convention ground.
That is not well.
We have seen it at the convention ground. He cannot hold the paper. He needs to be supported by the president, by the national chairman, by his wife, to read his acceptance speech,
but is
to
that
accept
true?
the flag.
Is that the true picture of things?
Well, but you showed it here. You showed it on your TV. You in particular showed it.
I'm saying that the representation, what you saw and what you're saying, is it the same thing? That you saw it and what you're saying,
As
maybe
a
not
former
being
Minister of Police Affairs, do you know where Bola Tinubu is now? Me, as a former Minister of Police Affairs, I know where he is.
Where he is?
He's in Paris, and he's consulting doctors.
Okay.
Just like
from what these people are saying.
Just like last week, the propaganda machinery was saying Governor Wike had gone to Paris to see Bola Tinubu. I was the first Nigerian to disprove that. When I debunked it, what happened? The next day, the Bola Tinubu campaign organization concurred. There was no meeting. There was no plan for any meeting.
Yeah.
I am telling you, based on what I know, Bola Tinubu is in France. He is attending to his health. And I want him to get better quickly so that we can roast him electorally.
You may be incorrect at some point, isn't it? When they come out with the facts for you.
No. Okay. There will be no fact that will disprove that he is not in Paris attending
I'm hoping that the APC might be able to come out and react to what you've said.
Yes, they can.
We just have 60 seconds to go. In these 60 seconds, first question I would like you to attend to is, what is the way forward for your party? Your party is in distress.
My party is not in distress. The party that is in distress based on its performance in government is APC. The party that is incomplete as of today, in preparation for the 2023 election, is APC, because they have a presidential candidate, they don't have a vice presidential candidate. The party that is in distress is APC, because there are so many questions about certain legitimate questions about their candidate, from his age, to his name, to his educational qualification, to his issues with the United States Justice Department. It's all there. You know, that's the party in distress. But we know that they have a tremendous propaganda machinery. And, you know, we would appeal to members of the forum to try to steer Nigerians to the issues at stake. What are we having now? A rundown economy, a terrible insecurity, misgovernance. Everything you know that could not happen 10 years ago is happening today in Nigeria.
On a final note, just in 30 seconds, I'll let you, Waziri, and the dynamics of things now, when the statement attributed to Senator Yocha Ayu that should there be a northern, a chairman of the party from northern extraction, he was going to resign or step down. Does that change?
You are inaccurate. You are inaccurate.
That's what he said.
He was quoted as saying no, 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 no.
So what did he say?
What people are saying that if the party produces the president from the north, the chairman will move to the south. That's the position.
We don't have the time. I would have shown you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in tonight. Waziri Adamu, thank you, a member of the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party and a former minister. Thank you so much indeed for coming tonight.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.